Here I am in the hospital down at Karat. I'm sure by now you got me note that Colonel McCoskey said that he was going to send you on how I got injured and burned in the fire in the A1 over North Vietnam. I'm pretty good shape and I'll be all right. May take a little while. I hope it won't take too long for me to get back on my feet. In fact, I am on my feet walking around and everything. Sort of swathed in bandages here and there. Got some bandages on my hands. And my arms are, my left arm particularly, from the elbow to the shoulder is fairly badly burned, and the back of my neck is rather burned. But I'm not too bad shape. I've got some burns on my face, particularly around my eyes, where my oxygen mask didn't cover. My helmet and my oxygen mask covered a good portion of my face and kept me from getting too much burned in that area. Well, anyway, what happened was this, and it was rather miraculous that I was able to get everything at all. I was awakened at about 4:40 on Sunday morning, Labor Day, scrambled on a rescue mission. I was Sandy 1, and we got off at a pretty good time by dawn. 4 Sandys and 2 Jolly Green Giants, and went over to North Vietnam in the same area, the disappearing river, where we had previously been on the last effort that I was on. As Sandy 1, it was my responsibility to be the on-scene commander, to find the survivor, patrol for ground fire, and decide whether it was safe to send in the helicopter, and if not, to locate the gun positions, and in fact the jets or other aircraft in on them if I couldn't get them myself, so that we could knock them out and then get the helicopter in to make the pickup. There was an F-4 in the area, a liner, who was able to talk to the survivor. I heard him a little bit on the way in, and he thought he knew where he was, flew over wiggling his wings, but turned out this was off about 8 miles, and we got no more contact for almost an hour, so we wasted a considerable amount of time searching in the wrong area. I found a couple of parachutes on the ground. It was quite safe area off in the wild coast where nobody could possibly go, but these turned out to be flare parachutes. So we just had to keep searching, and I never got any radio contact with the survivor. Finally, Misty, an F-100 Superfat, came in, and he located him about 8 miles further over to the east. And we went over there, and Misty vectored me to the area, and Meeks, my wingman, followed me over there. I was over to the eastern side of this Route 137, which is a rather highly defended road, the only one in about 80 miles. It goes through the coast area from North Vietnam into Laos. And while searching around over there, I got a few brief contacts with the survivor. I tried to get homed in on him without much success, but as I banked around, I felt an explosion outside the airplane and smoke in the cockpit. It dissipated rather quickly. I ziggied out of there. I looked around, and there wasn't any damage or anything that I could see, so I continued on the back towards that area, kind of avoiding the place that I had been hit. And finally got hold of Misty, and Misty then figured he had a good position on the survivor, who was talking well on the radio then. And Misty then vectored me in on him. He was in a little valley which appeared to be just to the west of the main road where all the communist gun positions would be, and looked like a pretty rough area. Well, Misty factored me in on this fellow from the west, and he was looking at me and telling me which direction to steer until I began to pick up the radio transmissions from Carter 02 Alpha, the front seat pilot of the F-4 that had been shot down, who was on the ground. And then the F-4 pilot vectored me in over his position. And just as I got over his position, a ZPU, multi-barreled Russian anti-aircraft gun, opened up on me. So I zigged on out of there and came back from the east, first telling the other people to stay out of there and keep the helicopters out. It looked like a bigger job than we figured before, as this ZPU was on top of the cars, which covered the area that the survivor was in, and we were going to have to get some fast movers in there to bomb them out before we could possibly think of getting the helicopter in. I made one pass firing 20 millimeter and then came back from the west again to get a definite position on the survivor before I called in the bombers to bomb the enemy positions. He vectored me in again and said, "You're right over me," and I dipped my wing, and I knew exactly where he was at this time, and I made a quick bank around to the right and zigged on out of there. And just at that moment, why, there was a big explosion in the airplane, and I looked back over my shoulder, and fire was coming out the back end of the airplane, and the instrument panel was all clouded with smoke, and there was fire and smoke all around. And I knew that there wasn't anything to do with get at it, so I pulled for altitude, heading for a clear area, and reached down and grabbed the extraction hammer and pulled it. The canopy went off, and nothing else happened. Here I sat in this thing with the fire all around it, and I said to myself, but this just can't happen to me. This is not the way it's supposed to be, and I've just got to get back and see my family. This can't happen. And so I reached down and grabbed the secondary escape panel, which releases the extraction mechanism so I could bail out over the side, gave that two big pulls, and tried to get out over the left side. I had a bit of difficulty rising up, and it didn't look like I was going to be able to make it over the side. And I looked down, and then I saw it was too low, so I dropped back down in the seat and pulled the airplane up and pulled the jettison house for all the ordnance, which seemed to be exploding, or something was exploding on the outside of the airplane. Then it all went. Then the fire seemed to die down a bit. And I looked at the engine, and the engine was running all right. The gauges were all in the green. And the smoke dissipated a little bit in the cockpit, so I just turned it 270 and climbed that toward over NTP. I figured that we had to. The people had been hollering, get out, but I knew that I couldn't get out very well, so I just had to stay there. So I just hoped it would keep on running and the fire would go out, although I really wasn't sure that it was. I figured at the last result I would turn it upside down and drop out. At any rate, I climbed on up, and then I noticed that the windshield was broken and part of it was melted. The right quarter panel was completely gone, and the left one was completely blackened over, and the armor plate in the center had dropped down on top of the gun sight, which was broken. The compass was melted. My hands were sort of shredded, skin hanging off of them. Sleeves had gone off my flying suit, and my helmet was sort of charred. Oxygen mask, the right hand portion of that was missing. The fire was at it, and I just kept on going. And Paul Meeks caught up with me, and then I flew on his wing and flew instruments. The TACAN started working. Been inoperative until I got hit. And I had about 45 minutes to go. I scrunched down in the seat and got the airplane in a crab so I could sit behind what was left of the windshield and just kept on going and praying it was going to hang together. It did. It ran real good. Watching Meeks through to the left. I was flying on his right wing and flying instruments. I got to NKP and the weather was down. I was flying over top of an overcast, and all my radio receivers and transmitters were out, with the exception of a guard receiver. We worked in a signal system where I could get a GCA and Meeks talked to them, and I listened, and they taken me in on a GCA final approach. I flew a pretty good GCA, and got it on down there, put the gear down because it broke out about 1,000 feet. It didn't go down, so I flew it into emergency position, and that worked. And the flaps wouldn't go down. And I kicked the crab out of the airplane and stuck my head in the hole where the windshield had been and looked at the runway and made a fairly good landing. Taxi gone down to the end of the thing and shut down, got to help me out of it. Colonel Olay was there. He got up, helped undo the straps. The ambulance came, put me on a stretcher, and took me on over to the hospital. It's a good thing I couldn't get out of it because they found all the parachute risers and everything were burned in the back of the airplane. Shell had gone in and knocked out most of the radios, hydraulics, and set fire to the extraction mechanism. I don't know what was burning up in front that did the windshield in, but it was rather silent in sight, but yet can be fixed without too much difficulty. And I think I'll be fixed for the airplane well. I was lucky that I didn't get out over the side because the parachute risers were burned and that wouldn't have worked. The only way that I could survive in this situation was by flying the airplane back. What was worrying me the most as I was flying back was that my eyes, which were swollen up, were going to close and I wasn't going to be able to see in order to land a thing. It's now the third, 2 days since it happened, and I'm feeling a lot better already. I left knocking for 9 in the afternoon, late afternoon after it happened. I had a nice room in the hospital there. Everybody came around and saw me, and I related all experiences. They told me how they went back in and knocked out all the guns and got out the pilot of the F-4 Carter 02 Alpha. And he came in the hospital, having been rescued by the Jolly Green Giants. He was a little bit burned too, and had a dislocated shoulder. He came around to see me, and we had our pictures taken together. All the guys in the squadron came to see me. I got my bag packed, and took a few of my things with me, and came on down to Karat. And I got on the C-47 to go down. I walked on down there. Pretty well swathed in bandages, but a large number of the maintenance people and guys in the squadron were waiting down there at base operations to see me off, and they all saluted. They're a great bunch of guys. And I was sorry to leave them. I really intend to get back. I have to get back to the squadron. I don't want to come home until I'm all straightened out. I know that this is going to probably postpone our Hawaiian vacation, so we won't have an anniversary in Hawaii, but we'll have something else a little bit later on if everything works okay. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get completely fixed, because now I figure I'm going to have to have some skin grafts on the back of my neck and on my left arm. But I intend to stay over here and get that done and get back to work. I'm much better already, and I've taken some of the bandages off. Now I have all my fingers sticking out where I was only using 2 yesterday. Now I have all but 1 sticking out. And the only really bad place is the top of my left arm and back of my neck. And my face, the swelling has gone down, and I don't look quite so much like Crawford Forrest Jr. anymore, although I'm not really very pretty. John Coffin called me up last night from the Sandy box, rang the bell for me, and all the guys talked to me. He's going to run the squadron until I get back, and I'm looking forward to being back with it by October, I hope. Maybe the first part, maybe the middle of it. I recuperate pretty fast, and I feel pretty good already. I'm in some pain when I get a bath in the morning. They put this sulfamyline on these burns, and that's really right bad. They have to give me a shot when I have that, but it wasn't as bad today as it was yesterday. Just call me Morphine Bill. I'm on a liquid diet. That's all I've been having is ice cream and Jell-O and milk and tea. I've gotten tired of drinking the milk. The doctor said I could have some beer. I gave the orderly some money to go get some, and he was supposed to have it back here an hour ago, but he hadn't shown up. I'm going to call the officers club and see if I can't find somebody that'll bring me some beer, because they said I could have it. I'm in a very nice Army hospital here at Korat. I was first in the Air Force hospital and spent 1 day there, and then ziggied on over here to the Army hospital. This is I've been here a day and a half, and people treat me very nicely, but they can't get my beer. Well, don't worry about me. I'm sorry I got hurt. Spoiled our vacation plans, but we'll have that Hawaiian vacation anyway. We'll do it, but it'll be just a little bit later. I want to send everybody my love and tell you I'm all thinking about you. I don't know what my address is. I'll have to send you that a little later. It'll probably be the Air Force Hospital at Clark Field.